Hello, welcome back everybody. This week, something special. We have my roommate, Sonam Sherpa, who is originally from Napal in Asia, and actually from Boston too. My other roommate, Lawson Martin, originally from Kentucky. Just an honorable mention that he was homeschooled, just because, I want to give some of these characters a little bit of a background and just show that they've got interesting perspectives. And then also me and Lucas just hanging out. This podcast was originally planned for me, Lawson, and Sonam to just do in a more professional setting, I would say. in a different state of mind, we'll say that. And what happened was, that night that we were going to record, we were all here. We were all tired. It was late. We didn't really want to. But then once we got all sassed up at the end of the night, we were out on the balcony, and they were like, all right, let's just pull it out now. Let's just do it. See if we can get it done. If not, we'll do it later. And I was like, all right. So this is the result of that. So I think it's fun. It's interesting. The first 10 minutes, I could have taken out, but I think they're hilarious to me personally. But then after the first 10 minutes, we get into more serious conversation. We're still really lighthearted about it. I think this whole conversation is a good example of what most conversations with me are like, where there's like a serious theme for sure, and like politics are involved, but also there's a whole lot of tomfoolery. Just fun stuff, just add it in there. Just keep it lighthearted and goofy. So, yeah, it's actually really interesting, and Sonam has a lot of interesting ideas about how he sees politics, and so does Lawson and Lucas. And it was a good combination of people, I think, to talk about what's going on in the world today and where we need to be and where we need to be going. So, yeah, I hope you enjoy it, because I obviously had a great time recording it. Hey, Porch. Hello, and welcome back to this episode of Articulate. We're doing something very special today. Basically, what happened is my roommates, me and Lucas, all got sassy tonight and had a good time. And we're going to record this episode just out on the balcony with the ambiance, because porch time is the best time, right?
Right, sure.
Yeah. So what was that thing you just mentioned about torturing people?
That really weird, like coming off like that to start with. But no, we were just talking about how like certain musics, like they were in Guantanamo Bay. Mm-hmm. They were played over and over again as punishment or as like torture. Yeah. And the music companies or when they found out, like, or the artists, they were mad. They were trying to sue the government for it, because they're like, yo, what the fuck? God damn.
Like, we want to capitalize on this, come on, seriously.
No, yeah, I think they were more mad about, their music being used as torture, because that's kind of slap in the face of an artist.
Yeah, or the streams weren't counting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I was going. Yeah, they just weren't getting what they wanted out of it. But yeah, that's super messed up, dude. Like, I mean, if you think about it, there's like, I don't know, the torture that they do. That's one of the better. I mean, I went to juvie. I don't know if you heard about this or not. And a lot of the music that they played just up on the TV was country, and it was not, and it was, okay, listen.
That was
Lawson.
Your Guantanamo Bay torture genre.
It was, bro. It was straight up. And Lawson, I'm not trying to be a dick. Like, I respect old, good country music, but it was the new poppy, they're singing Hallelujah, but, I don't know, with the trap beat in the background, kind of.
Yeah, and they're on the truck with a beer.
Yeah.
And there's a girl somewhere.
No, it was really bad. So,
things that they do to prisoners. You know what I mean? You know, all these white like a white kid in a middle class like prison, juvenile detention, not prison, juvenile detention.
No, but on the other side, now think about this: you're in a room where it's not big enough for you to fully stretch out your limbs. It's just enough where you can be there, but if you have been in a car or like for a long flight, you know how like your body just starts wearing down, like if you're not able to like fully stretch it out and stuff.
Yeah.
I was just like getting stuck in that kind of scenario, having that same fucking song going again and again and again, non-stop, right?
That's Guantanamo Bay?
Dude, that's the whole purpose of it.
Damn.
Well, like that kid out on that balcony.
Yeah.
Just listening to Weezer over.
And they give him a cock meat sandwich. You guys ever heard of a cock meat sandwich before?
It sounds nice.
It's from Harold and Kumar, and they go to Guantanamo Bay.
Incidentally, they go to Guantanamo.
They actually go to Guantanamo Bay, and they get cock meat sandwiches from the the guards.
They don't have to. They escape before they do.
Yeah, before
luckily they escaped. the other guy that was like telling him about the cock meat
The guy
sandwich.
who does get the cock meat sandwich, he bites the guy's stick.
Oh yeah, you're right, and they get out of there.
And they stab him.
Great series. That's just such a solid series.
Didn't they run out with like a bunch of weed, a whole bag of weed or something? There?
Yeah, no, this.
And then was on the animal? Oh no, I think that was a different one.
That was the first one where they run out of the police station with the weed.
Oh, the tigers in the woods. Yeah, there's some kind of leopard or something.
What if this whole podcast we just describe Harold and Kumar? It's just
I
us.
watched Harold and Kumar, and you had Neil Patrick Harrison there.
Yeah.
I didn't care at that point, but then I went back and watched How I Met Your Mother, right?
Yeah.
I had a whole I ran the whole fucking series.
Yeah.
It's a thing. It's a thing.
And then I was like,
it's a monster,
like
bro.
20 episodes per season. It's like a network show.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
But what were you saying?
Yeah, but then coming back, I'm like, holy shit, this movie, because at that time they were kind of nobody, right? And then they had like somehow they bagged Neil Patrick Harrison. The budget for the movie was also kind of shit,
big time.
For sure.
And
That's what I think it was so
him?
shit because they paid for Neil Patrick Harrison. Because they knew that they needed
That
a
was the
big.
whole
That
budget.
was the draw. Like the trailer moment. You have to have a trailer moment to sell movies a lot of the time. That's. I've read books on this shit, and they're just like, well, you gotta make like a 30-second funny thing or stupid thing that is like commercially available to put out there.
Yeah.
And you get Neil Patrick
That's
Harris,
your hook, and
celebrity endorsement kind of thing. Yeah.
Well, to keep this podcast, on topic, I think the worst torture method I've ever come across.
Torture.
Apparently, over somewhere sadistic, to get info out of the hostages, they would bring in beautiful women to be gazed upon by the hostage, which is all well and dandy so far. Mm-hmm. But then to get said information, they would take a long needle-like piece of glass and they would insert the glass, to use the medical term, into your dick hole.
Urethra. Shit.
And if you didn't tell them the info, they'd hammer it.
Oh my god.
Oh man.
Dude, no, fuck
and
that.
that
I think I on this whole shit.
What happens then?
Yeah.
I was using music and social lighthearted. I wasn't here for that.
I'm just trying to keep us on track here.
Well, imagine the worst memory of your life it's going to play over and over again in your head, and then Britney Spears is playing in the background.
And then you're just driving, mind your own business, and Britney Spears comes on. Because the good thing about the dick hole torture is that you're never going to experience that again. But the bad thing about Guantanamo Bay torture is that you could just be at a restaurant and that song could come on.
Oh my god.
Instant flashbacks.
Instant, yeah.
It's Britney, bitch.
Oh, no. Damn, bro. It's a whole new meaning. Yeah. It hit me, baby, one more time, just hammering into it. It's just like, oh, ah.
That
Jesus
brings our two
Christ.
methods together.
Yeah, it's too much. It's too much.
Okay, I think I'm good to move on to bigger and better topics.
Bigger, better, yeah.
Yeah.
Have you guys seen that movie? It's the guy that plays Kylo Ren, Adam Driver. Kylo Ren.
Yeah.
He's in this movie called. It has that song from Portugal the Man called "This So American,"
Yeah.
but he's like a guy that uncovers the whole 9/11 like torture.
Oh, is it The
thing.
Report?
The Report. The
Yeah.
Report. Yeah, that's what it's
On,
called. Have you guys ever heard of that
Amazon.
before?
I haven't seen it.
It just came out like last year.
Last year?
Yeah, 2019.
Really? Well,
Pretty sure.
I watched it recently. It's really good, dude. Like, Adam Driver is just really good in everything. And in the movie, it really brings out, like, I don't think it's so political in the way that, you know, it's, like, really divisive between right and left. It's just, like, I mean, it's just literally the facts of what happened and people trying to get, like, justice about injustice, you know? Do you guys know what happened with that?
About 9/11?
No, like they about. I mean,
Dude, I heard this joke the other day.
we heard about 9/11, you know. Obviously.
I heard this joke the other day. This guy was like, yeah, like they were talking about something, like these two guys were talking about something like serious. He's like, yeah, and like since 9/11, it had. You know about 9/11, right? He just said it so since. I was like, he's like, yeah, I've heard of it. He's like, you can't do that joke anymore.
Oh no. But so after that happened, I think it was the CIA or the FBI or somebody just literally got like just random tip-offs about just Arab men, and they would just go and like get them, and a lot of the Arab men had no ties to Osama bin Laden or anything, and they just like tortured, or they did, but it was like real loose ties, and they just tortured them like really badly, really bad. Let's say these guys, hit me baby one more time. Yeah, we talked.
Don't feed into his dark soul. He's like crazy for that.
No, I haven't seen that though.
Yeah.
Based on a true story, I guess.
Yeah, for sure.
The report was like 1,000 pages though.
That's crazy.
Can you imagine being in politics and just having to write for like days without sleeping, you know, trying to get like this whole report typed up and finished? I don't know.
I know exactly how that feels like.
Yeah.
after some years of school.
Oh yeah. Yeah, true.
Yeah.
Sonam, do you think you'll be a politician ever?
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
No. It's just, you know, you have to do so much, and you have to be a public figure, and it's just so much to maintain there, like, you know, everyone's expectation there. I'm happy being, like, you know, out of politics side.
Out of the politics side?
Yeah.
That's fair.
Yeah. It is. It just seems like so much work, and like, I mean, you see Obama come in, and then his hair turned gray over like 4 years. And I don't know.
All right.
But
It's just crazy.
I think it's because kind of like, you know, idea of politics kind of turns people off because everybody knows it's like, you know, dirty. Like they have to, like, there's so much bureaucracy fighting there and stuff like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's why, like, you know, we still, like, right now, all the people in politics, like in the Senate, the House, like all the biggest, like, you know, most powerful positions in the government, they're all, like, you know, medium age on that. The average age is, like, you know, well over 60 and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we're like, and then they're using that, you know, mentality and that knowledge to, like, you know, because for us, we've grown up with internet and technology all this life, right?
Right.
But they've only had that in the last 20, 30 years of their life.
Right.
Like, you know, when you're that old,
just
like,
jealous.
you don't really, like, you can't really adapt to it,
No,
right? Like, because we can adapt to a new, like, device right away. If like, you know, right now there's Xbox, there's PS4. If there's some other company that releases and a game console, we can adapt to it right away, right?
Right.
Well, like, people that are, like, older, like, unless they're, you know, really into video games as well, they won't necessarily be able to, because they haven't developed this small things, right?
Mhm.
So the whole process of thinking, like, you know, like in the internet age of internet, where all of these things are private and stuff, like they need to, like, think about broader, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think they don't. That's the problem. And then it's kind of sucks because we need more younger people to, like, be in the like politics so that they can bring about change.
Right. And that's where honestly, the real change comes from. If you see young people always like are some of the first people. They're like, oh, we should be able to vote. Like they can't wait till they turn 18 so they can start influencing.
I think I talked to you about this the other day. Like basically, change happens like events that happen like with all this Black Lives Matter movement that like re-spark after this coronavirus. Change like we did all this stuff and then there was a fierce response like backlash from it from them like they're being arrested, they're being imprisoned, some of them hurt, like a bunch of people have lost their eyes on this is like it's bad, they're suffering through this, but like because of that and like all the people all the kids who are growing up right now and seeing this we're seeing this, it's not like okay like nothing happened, now we're aware of this, so now like that kind of pushes us, everybody like who knows and about and is aware of that, to make real changes. And like like it might not change right away like within the next 5 years or so, but like eventually as
the older generations
die off, as they die off or as they retire.
We'll say retire, push it as that far to say.
And then they go up. That's when it's gonna come to change. But then that gets me thinking. That's them, right? But then what about us? Like when we are at, if you are at like 50, 60, and then like now there's a whole generation below you, right? Like how you gonna cope or
what if it's just normalized for us at that point?
To just accept that younger generation.
Like it is kind of normalized at this point. Like there's federal police just taking people and putting them in like vans. Just like. I don't know.
We're not like sketchy. Really a reactive society,
I think we are though. Like I think so, because this happened. Now they're in the future. Basically, I think they'll create more explicit laws that says you can't do this. Basically, something bad has to happen, and then we come and say, okay, don't do this again. Like that's how like laws became formed, right? Like right now, there's like in all the different states of the U.S. I heard there's some like weird ass laws, like you can't go out at like if you're underweight or like if you're under 18 and stuff. You can't go out at night as a girl or something like that. Or they'll have some stupid like laws. But because at the time somebody broke the law and then they just made it because that was like the town people got together and then they're like fucking make that law.
I feel like most laws now though like protect like powerful people. It's like
they do.
And it's like there's the whole like crack epidemic where it's like it laws ended up targeting like black people more than white people, because like white people would be more into cocaine.
Basically, they were trying to, in order to fight, basically send get the people in Cuba and stuff, all that. They needed money, right? And they needed untraceable money. So in order to do that, they kind of like they bought like basically drugs back. And sold it to in the inner cities, and the targeting black population, and that's basically the government was behind the crack epidemic.
For sure.
Like
probably the AIDS epidemic.
Probably the AIDS epidemic.
That's a deep cut.
Cancel the government. That's what I say.
Let's cancel.
Yeah. Government cancel.
All right, I have a solution to politics.
Torture? Is it torture?
No, man.
I don't know about you guys. I haven't been able to stop thinking about the dick torture. To be honest, the music was like, oh, that would be so terrible.
Yeah, I haven't been able to stop thinking about it either.
I know. Every person with a penis I meet, I have to tell them that story because I need them to feel what I felt when I heard about that. But anyways, solution to politics. What if it's illegal to campaign? You can't run a campaign ad off the president. So when we go to vote, we just vote for who we think should be president. And if you get voted on, like you get the most votes, it is your duty. Like you now have to be the president because by popular demand, you have to be.
But no, that's bad.
What if it was a lottery?
That's just a popularity vote. So then, like they won't actively what do you call it, be going around.
Yeah, there are nerds who are less social than some people.
And just being a president doesn't mean you have to be the most popular person. What if you need somebody smart or somebody capable of doing things under pressure? Like a president should be qualified. Like they should be able to have some be able to perform under pressure. They should be able to have eloquence to speak to world leaders. You have all these things, right? Why don't we make it like an exam actually? Like anybody who wants to be a president.
Meritocracy.
Basically,
Yeah.
anybody who
What's
wants
a
to be like
meritocracy?
It's like people are based on their merit, so like the president would be somebody who would do
Oh.
all
you
this.
have basically an open
Yeah.
test, like you have a whole judge panel and stuff. Like
Yeah.
whoever does best in that class basically wins, right?
Yeah, but then
Presidency.
you have the problem in like a merit. I don't know. I always thought like a meritocracy was like the way to go, but then you have like standardized tests are dumb as hell. You know, in my
Yeah.
opinion, like I guess that they work for like public schools and shit, but like I don't know.
No,
Yeah, so it's like, what
that
are you
is
getting
true
your merits
too.
based
And
on?
that's like what it ends up being, because you have to have some standardization.
It's not like a straight up like test on like your reading comprehension or something.
Yeah.
Like basically you get scored on different things, right?
Yeah.
So you need to be able to lead under pressure. So everybody who applies, they kind of go through some intensive some testing to see what's their breaking point, how long
Like
they
the
can
Hunger
get,
Games.
Kind of like that, but like
In a much safer fashion.
I don't know, man.
like they don't need to be like able to like run like crazy. They don't need to be, but like they need to be able.
But
to,
they
like,
should be able to.
Yeah, like I mean, they should be able to run. They should
I
be
would
able
want
to,
my
like,
president to be
have,
able to
like,
run.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. You were talking about it's all old people that are running for office, whether
Yeah.
it's presidency, well, definitely the presidency. Like I like Bernie personally, but he's still like 76.
Yeah.
And like
Yeah.
Hillary Clinton's up there, 75, 76.
Right.
Biden's at least that old.
Well, do you remember
Trump is at
when
least
a
that
young
So,
president
this
actually
should
got
be
elected
weighted
and then got
different.
assassinated? Do you remember that?
You remember?
Do you remember that?
Yeah, it can be there, and then it'll just be weighted differently. So like than the others. So like
Yeah.
you won't count as for much. It will still count, but it won't be like a major stringer on the thing.
Yeah.
Like I think like other tests like in aptitude or like
Yeah.
even in diplomacy like kind of like having some skills in diplomacy like
Yeah.
like it's not a standardized test like but you somehow have to be able to do something.
Yeah,
Like,
negotiating.
Maybe
could be
they
a-
have to go out and do real life actual deals with like people and
Yeah.
stuff like like obviously within the caliber of appointment or interview process but like nothing like that would like relationship between two countries like but like something that minor but like big enough that they need to like if they do is a good win for them
Yeah.
stuff
Yeah.
like that
Yeah.
and that will help the fucking country too right
Yeah, just better relations with other countries.
Yeah.
We still need younger people to run for office, though. I feel like
yeah they will
Yeah.
like anybody who's like
But will they though?
well,
Because
but the
look at
legal
you,
age.
like you're inspired by it, and you literally just said yourself it's too much to get into.
But
You don't want.
at
you
this
know.
point, it's not even like you have to. It's not even you have to have like run. You have to like win, and to win, you have to have money. You have to have a shit
Yeah.
like more money, basically.
That's true.
and you also have to have that personality to be a politician like
Oh, big.
I mean
A winning politician.
yeah like for myself I know me like I'm good like for a while like I can do stuff but I don't want to be on all the time like
Yeah.
how politicians have to be like
Politicians have to. Oh, really?
Yeah,
They have to be
yeah.
on all the time.
yeah like
I
your
know.
life never ends.
Yeah, it's
you
like being a
be,
server.
you can't like
24/7.
leave your work. You're like you have to go be home and even at home you have to act
A certain way.
presidential or like like all
Can't
whatever
just
your
walk
role
through
is.
talks
Yeah.
anymore.
Yeah, you can't fuck a pig or even no.
You can't even fuck a
You
pig.
can't fuck a pig anymore.
Damn,
Yeah.
dude.
That's
What about your
I'm
daughter?
saying.
Jesus Christ. Yeah, no, and I don't know. That's the
No,
other
like
thing.
that's how he commented on his own daughter.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's true.
a couple times.
A couple of times. But I was actually I've been getting into the, I watched the Epstein documentary and reading up on Dave Chappelle and how much money he was offered and the stuff that he went through. It's like something really changes about people when they get a certain amount of money, though. You know what I mean? Once they hit
Yeah.
certain just amounts of millions, I feel like there's just. You just feel unstoppable at that point. You know what I mean? And that's where the divide kind of kicks in. You know what I mean? That's where the greed starts to take hold.
You know what that is?
What?
Financial security. No, it's not even a joke. Like,
So
that-
financial security brings out the worst in people.
No,
is what you're saying?
I'm not saying it brings out worse in the people. It brings out their true self,
Yeah.
right? Because like not every rich person is an asshole.
Yeah.
There's a lot of rich people who are like able to donate, contribute to society, help their country, help their society, help their town, whatever. Like whatever level they can, they do that.
Mhm.
So it just really brings like right now some people might be nice to others just to like get a promotion or just to like kind of move up in their world. Some people like they love like love being around people, but they have to work a crazy amount of jobs because of their family and stuff. It basically, money forces your hand to do things in your life that you normally wouldn't if you had a choice.
Right.
Once you have that financial security, you don't have to do something because of the money factor. That factor is gone.
Yeah, you
That's
just
Now
sit on
you
your
do things
dog
because you want to, or because you just kind it's a habit or something from your old days.
Yeah.
But that's the difference, right? And then
Right.
and then the people who are born into their financial financial independence, right?
Right, like rich kids.
They also rich kids. Like basically, they also have a different, thought process of how their life is, and it's not necessarily their fault. It's not everyone's fault.
Yeah.
Right? They just should they be upset that their parents were like successful in life? Basically, no. That's you shouldn't punish being successful. That should not be
well, that's what I was gonna ask. Do you think it's beneficial to have that financial security? Like, do you think that would ultimately be a good thing if it really brings out the worst or the people's true self that to do bad things?
It doesn't, but like what I think needs to happen is bring that financial I think either way you should be able to see that it makes sense. It's sustainable to bring everybody into the same fold.
Yeah, socialize it.
Yeah, but once you start using the word socialize, people bring up all the other words attached to it. It brings a lot of stuff, right?
Yeah.
So you need to look at it differently. It won't be quite socialism because you're not just doing stuff, but think about us now. We have progressed so much, right? From the industrial age to today, the digital age, where we every so many years our efficiency just kept going and going. 10,000 years ago we were still hunting and hunting and gathering for food, and now we're able to do such things that people back then would have never even dreamed of. They would if you went back in time, just not even that long ago, just 500 through 300 years ago.
Yeah, 300 years.
Any amount of time.
Yeah.
Tell them all the things that you're able to do now.
Mm-hmm.
You can fly in the plane. People have been to the moon.
Yeah.
They have sent stuff there. All the achievements that has happened, and they'd be like, that's fucking crazy, right?
Yeah.
It's advancing so fast.
Mm-hmm.
So
this is just all uncharted territory.
It's uncharted territory. So we're basically pioneering this whole shit, right?
Right.
Yeah, but we're not politicians, though. And they're just shit job.
But that's the thing. Is it only the politicians? They shape the law, stuff around guiding the people, right?
Mm-hmm.
But people. That's the craziest thing. You have infinite possibility that you can do anything as a people. If your country is the government, the laws only come around whatever is there. So if the inside grows, you grow technologically. You're able to now teleport. Only then will they have to write a law about teleporting, right? Before that, if they write about laws about teleporting, it's stupid. Why are you writing that law? But basically, see, they can't control all of you because there's so many different things, advancement that you have still to do.
Yeah, but then there's lobbyists too. So the lobbyists lobby for corporations to politicians to write the laws. So that way the laws are skewed against the and if you don't want to use socialize, there's public so the
Publicize?
yeah, that's a word though.
Oh.
It's not the right one. But yeah, I mean
Just coin a new two-word sentence, for that thing. And make it a thing.
But if you think about it, there's corporations, right? And they have a bunch of people working for them, and that's how people get wealthy. They own companies that then, have a bunch of people that are working for them, and they pay them, but a percentage of what they make. They're not gonna pay them how much the company's worth, how much how much profit the company's making, and they shouldn't. They shouldn't have to. They own the company. But if it's the workers making the stuff, then what happens is all the profits of that company are internalized, right? They pay wage labor, but they still internalize all the profits, right? They know how many people they can hire based on how much they can spend out. But then all the costs when the laws are then written by the corporations are externalized. So all the environmental costs, all the costs of inner cities like having a lot of corporations and like factories in them, but then not paying their workers enough to like actually own like housing. You know?
Yeah. Walmart, like almost every person who works there has like relies on like Medicaid and all this other like stuff there.
Yeah, and then there's like
real.
Walmart has like a foundation too, so like a charity. But then that means they can just like write off a bunch of their taxes through that.
Yeah.
It's like there's so many companies that just don't have to pay taxes. Like Amazon just doesn't have to pay taxes because they just know how.
I think like one of my philosophy in life is you can't have pure black and white. You need to have a mix, right? And anything like there needs to be a balance. It can't go completely one way or the other.
Yeah.
So I think one of the reason U.S. is like how it is like it's because we're super capitalists, right?
Yeah.
And why is that? Because we were in a Cold War with the Soviet Russia for the longest time, right?
Yeah.
After like World War II ended,
especially for us as like a young nation, like that's a long time.
That's after when we were born, right? But like before that period, there was a Cold War where like both countries were trying to supply and one up the other like the whole fucking time, right?
The Red Plague, bro.
Yeah, and just think about that, man.
Yeah, and I mean they also watched. Some people watched Japan like just get hit by nukes and like that whole thing too. Like that's a whole generation within itself. Some people just have to live through just like serious traumatic events, and I mean, and that's us now. We're part of that. I don't know.
The Red Scare like even started like after World War I or like before World War I. Whereas like you have like the Soviet Union forming, after like the revolution and stuff.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's like then like following that, you have like throughout the U.S. like a whole like anti-Soviet.
Yeah. So that's why we went completely opposite of like they stand for socialism or like a communism. We're capitalists, like we go the complete opposite of like we were like rejecting each other's dogma and in that same time entrenching our own to be that much stronger. Because when you're fighting against somebody about your belief in that becomes that much stronger just because there's pressure
and opposition. Yeah.
But when you think about it, there were communists still in the U.S. They had to still like fight, like they were still like sending out like newspapers and shit. Just like. But then they got like squashed by the government and by like people were like, well, no, we need like capitalism and like maybe they did at the time to like get to where we are in 2020.
But now I feel like it could be a marriage of the two. Like where like it's not a pure capitalism, it's not a pure thing. Like you still have companies that like do better, like still get a bigger chunk of the pie. But then like that some of that stuff is used to like basically supply like basic needs for everybody. Like in this time, with this basic stuff, you wouldn't be balling, but like you'll be basically be able to afford like an apartment, like food for yourself, like like monthly stipend. To, like,
and then there would still be people
things.
Who would.
And then because we with all the stuff that I talked about, like all this advance that we made, we came all this way. Our efficiency has doubled every year, like since for like almost not double exactly, but like it's basically been increasing like for the last 100 years at almost the same rate, which is crazy, right?
Yeah.
Because now it's going exponentially
compared to like history.
Yeah. And then so we should be enjoying the fruit of that, right?
Yeah, that's like, what you were saying before. I really like that idea.
Like, think about this, like the people who like invented like a technology or whatever, like like electricity or like who patented like crazy technology stuff.
Yeah.
They basically get you money, make money for a certain time, and then then other people can take it too, right?
Right.
But like, why can't we do that with companies? Now, I'm not saying take all their money, but like like they can enjoy whatever the money they earn for a while, right? Like companies that are using like heavy AI and all this stuff, like where they reduce the number of people they employ. Because of they're relying so much on technology and stuff, they basically pay a technology tax.
Technology tax, yeah.
And then it comes down to like providing the basic needs for everybody.
That makes
sense. There's enough money for it. Like, because think about it, right? once money sits, like, there's enough money to, and then enough resources for in the world to keep everything running. This is not being used properly, efficiently.
Yeah, a lot of it's just like sitting in
It's
accounts.
just like all the stock
just like
market,
accruing interest, and it's like
when people are like in the stock market, there's enough money in every month. For, if everybody just agrees, okay, I'll push my money from here, there, push the money. If you just have the moment of money, economy is fucking solved.
That's really the problem. It's like poorly allocated. You know, like
only a few fucking people think, and then they don't even fucking keep it in liquid form. They have it all tied up in land, all this offshore accounts and stuff like that. So they like literally just sit and accumulate money.
Yeah,
investment in the stock market or something. They just like sit there, leave it to grow.
It's like
that's
hoarding in a way,
to
kind
do
of.
it.
Yeah.
But yeah, like the way we want to live our life, if we want it to be better, like if you just like change that system, why don't we? We fix every problem in our life. Why don't we fix our real problems, right? Make it fix the fucking flow. Like why can't we just pay somebody? Why can't all the people like just US just get together and say, other worlds get together and say, fucking get together. We will give you all the money in the world that you want. Find a way to make the system work for every fucking person in the world.
Yeah.
Like then you can throw all the smartest people of the world in it. Like that problem once it's solved, do it. Follow whatever comes out of it, and then just everybody fucking becomes happy.
Yeah,
gets what they want in the world.
But I think
they want the money for themselves because they're greedy people.
You get self-interest, in there, and then like once people have, you said it earlier, like once people get enough money, then their true self comes out.
Yeah.
It's
so
like,
what happens when
it's
everybody
true with
has
power,
financial
too.
security?
It's
What
like
happens?
once everybody has, not everybody, once you give those people like the power of the world, then they're like, oh fuck, I can use this for myself. Oh fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it would raise the standard of living. I would agree with that. I feel like. I mean,
definitely for homeless people. If we gave them like a place to live.
Homeless. Yeah, exactly. And if that's like the bare minimum, and we accept that as like a normal thing, instead of saying, "Oh, only homeless people should have these types of homes."
But actually, like now that I think about it, isn't that such a fucking good idea? Like if you're a billionaire, like one of the fucking billionaires who have like $50-60 billion dollars, right?
Yeah,
like okay, you know what? Some of my billion friends, let's get together. Can we just all chip in like maybe like $500 million each, like between like 20-30 of us, it'll be like 10-15 billion.
Yeah.
That gets spent on purely
just 10-15
billion. You know how much a billion is? It's a million.
Yeah,
right?
A billion is a million.
Yeah,
it's
Jeff Bezos could still have like 50. I don't know. There's like actual numbers on this, but he could still have like a more than a few billion.
Yeah.
In just like solve like world hunger, solve like homelessness in the U.S.
Yeah.
Damn.
There's just like so many
you're saying
things.
get them all together and hire just a group of the smartest people in the world.
Like, just literally, like like treat it like any other thing. Like, there's no pure profit, but this is like kind of like a voluntary stuff, right? Like, purely what you're doing is getting all the best, smartest people of every country in the world, and just try to think of a way that just make it make this better place for everybody.
Right.
What system would work? And then just like once you come up with that, after spending all that much money, they should have some result, right?
Right.
Maybe they won't have a perfect one, but they would like, okay, in this kind of places you can do this, in this here you can do this.
Yeah.
It's still like make it a better, and then that plan is just given to every country in the world, and not just given to the leaders. It's also publicized so that there's also going to be strong sentiment from the whole country for the idea behind it. Because if you just give it to dictatorship, the government, they're like, yeah, no thanks, I like to keep my people unhappy.
Yeah.
And you tell all the people how to do this, and
there has to be an alliance. Yeah, for sure.
Then be like, oh shit, okay, if we do this, it'll definitely it's better than the situation now. Like if you're basically improving the quality of life of every person in the world, like you'll have unanimous
unanimous. Yeah.
I have two comments.
Yeah.
First off, I'm pretty sure a billion is 1,000 billion. I don't mean to be an asshole.
I think he might be right.
Maybe.
I don't.
1,000 billion. Yeah.
Anyways, that was my first comment.
No, you're wrong.
No,
Because you have
million.
1 million, and then you have 10 million, like the placeholders.
Yeah.
You got the up to 9 million, and then you have up to 90 million, and you have up to 999 million, and then you get 1 billion.
Okay, I guess what I'm saying
That's
is 1,000 times 1 million is 1 billion.
No.
He says, did you do the math?
Yes, I googled it before I spoke.
Okay, so you want to
1,000 times 1 million equals 1 billion.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna go on the record right now and say definitely.
Man, now I gotta look it up.
Yeah. But a million millions does have a nice ring to it, though. You know what I mean? It has a nice ring.
The point still stands, but I just
The alliteration.
Yeah. So what's the second comment?
The second comment was slightly more serious.
Okay.
So, if we get together, all the billionaires, and we have all these billions of dollars, with the goal of making life better for every single person, I guess I have a hard time understanding where exactly those billions are going, because I don't think it's not the smartest thing to just cut it equally in all portions and send an equal amount to every person. I don't think that's the best idea, because
No. So basically, you don't just give it to somebody. You use it as a foundation. You use it to use a tiny fraction of the fucking money to buy a giant plot of land, build a whole thing, build a whole city there around it, right? And then from there, you basically just these people will live there, breathe there, whatever. Their whole fucking family will come around, for them to and then they will work on designing this thing.
So that it's a good idea. I'm not saying it's not a good idea.
Yeah.
Where I hesitate, and I guess my philosophy is that no one likes the government as it is, and I don't think we should count on these leaders and these billionaires no one already likes to do this.
Yeah.
So my
Hold on, I'm not saying that this will happen.
I know.
Go on, sorry.
My thought is towards government and all these things is to make the system smaller and allow the communities with the problems, so say we have a homeless dude over there, let us come up with a solution that works for us. Maybe to make that more concrete, imagine if a place like LA or a place like Seattle, a solution that's going to work for those big cities aren't going to be working for Deer Park or Lebanon.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of like what you said. You need to have a lot more of this gray area where we don't necessarily need all right, it's going to be this way for every place, because not necessarily the same solution is going to work every place.
Yeah.
And just it depends.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that's why you're paying this guy's top dollar in the imaginary world. You're paying this guy's top dollar money, so they're looking at all the all the data in the world, right? So
so they look at each little place too.
They'll be feeding computers all this fucking data from all people's behavior. Finally Facebook and all this stalking that they do with our
use it
all
all
that data will be used to for good.
Yeah.
They will combine all the patterns and behavior. Just
what if we had
a program like a quantum, fucking smart ass computer that can do the computation. Yeah. The problem, the answer wasn't gonna come from a human. It's gonna come from our fucking
AI.
Yeah, exactly.
We need to when we get the AI is gonna model the evolution of a perfect society. Because obviously you don't just change a lot of laws and you're perfect. You've got to evolve. So then you put in the data. So I'm at this place right now, and it tells you exactly the steps you need to take to become perfect.
Computer. Computer is the final.
But then we're all so on and stuff. Have you guys heard the theory that this world is basically a big simulation, a computer simulation?
Oh yeah.
No.
I got two comments about that.
Okay, go for it.
First of all, I looked up the millions. You are correct. But it used to mean a million millions.
Oh, back in the arcade.
Yeah, because it's Old English, because it's billion, so it's by, too.
Wow,
Okay.
interesting.
Yeah.
So what's the second comment?
The second comment is I have to take a piss.
Oh no.
So I could do it off the balcony, or I could just go in.
It'd be weird if you went inside.
Yeah.
That was fun.
Yeah. But anyways, have you guys ever seen the episode of Love, Death, and Robots?
Oh, dude,
Yeah.
Yeah, where the yogurt comes down.
Yeah.
And it gives...
I love the music that they play.
Yeah, the music's so good. But what it does, they accidentally mix yogurt and this like nuclear radiation or something, or some chemical that they threw together.
Yeah, it becomes sentient.
And it became sentient, and it was literally like, all right, here is the answer for world peace. It like wrote it down in a manual, do exactly this. And they gave it to the humans, and then just really matter-of-factly was like, and of course, humans fucked it up, and like, and just so they had to like rearrange and do everything differently, and they left us here.
Yeah.
But they fixed our society still, so that's kind of what I'm hoping for.
All right, well, going off that, we as humans have to accept that we will fuck anything up. So whatever system we put in place, it has to be foolproof.
Yeah.
And it has to have some kind of method where if you mess up, you don't get, you don't have to get punished per se, but you don't get rewarded either.
Right.
Like, it's a complex
There has to be
problem.
a neutral setting.
Yeah.
But when you create that you can like it could go wrong because like think about like if you're like creating like a situation where oh fuck I forgot
we will fuck it up. So you have to have a foolproof system where if you mess up, you kind of get the consequences of you messing up.
Okay, yeah. So
some backlash.
Gotcha. I was still thinking in the AI world, so like like if you put like something out there like in the AI that's so fucking smart, right? And then you make it foolproof, like you said, so that no matter what you do, like how bad you fuck up, you will still be able to fix it.
Yeah.
Now, that basically means it is unchecked by you, like because even no matter what you do, you will not be able to stop it.
Because it's AI, it has its own. Yeah.
So it's gonna basically shape your whole world to give, what do you think?
Perfect
world, and then like, its definition of perfect is you in.
But then that
but
comes
they
with
forget that you need fucking food or water or something,
Yeah.
or something.
In AI, you would still have to
the world
program.
is perfect. Like everything, they made all the system, everything perfect, and then fuck, they need food.
We forgot about the food. But with AI, you would still have to program like a set book of morals, basically. Like you would have to make code for morals.
Have you? I forgot the guy's name, Asimov or
Isaac Asimov.
Yeah,
I've never heard of
basically like he has like three rules. Do you remember the rules?
No, it's something about robots. Right?
Is it from the
He's a
movie
psych-
I, Robot?
Kind of like it kind of took some of that, and then so basically it's like you nothing you can do, like you'll always listen to the human, right? And then nothing you do is gonna be like bring harm to a human, and then something else. And I think the third one is like
an on-off switch.
Yeah, I forgot
Jack
actually.
me off.
Yeah, but basically, those were some of the things. So basically, like you always have to like never heard the thing, and then like there's a book about called like a robot, and basically it has all these different scenarios where it could that could go wrong in a different way.
Right, yeah, that's like iRobot. It's because the robots find loopholes in the 3 laws. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
That's what I'm saying. Is
Tax evasion,
3
but-
laws. Yeah, tax evasion.
it's egocentric though to have them all about humans. That's the problem. Like you got to have it. Like it has to be for the good, like the benefit.
But as soon as you do that's bad though. You know
just
why?
get rid of the humans though.
Yeah, exactly. Like humans, if you look
But
at
if they're fucking shit up, then like, I mean, honestly, aren't there like
change
enough
everything in the world
species?
to
Like
fit us.
when you like pollute the earth, like there's enough species that are like, like it's worse off for them now, and like we just continue living like in our fucking filth, and like
like imagine
like we lived for centuries as humans in like just fucking like in our
Mud
shit.
and plagues.
With,
and,
with like literally in our shit. Just like it's like, well, you just shit like where you are.
In that book
when you need to shit.
the history of the people, where they're
The
talking
people's
about
history,
the
yeah.
people's history, where they're talking about just like they would bring people over in the ships, and they would just lay down and not move the whole 32 days.
That's another thing
that
we
they're
didn't talk about, like slaves. Like the reason our country is so fucking prosperous and so fucking profitable, like
In the first place.
as such a young country, like we're much younger than China, we're much younger than the UK. It's because of slaves. We brought so many slaves over. They're just like, do it.
You just want to talk
Yeah,
about
you
slaves, then.
What? No.
Of course.
We gotta bring slaves back, guys. No,
It's
nobody.
such
Yeah.
great growth.
I mean, only if they're paid, right?
Yeah, we
still have
got
servants.
we can have slaves, but we pay them.
That's
Yeah.
called,
But,
that's
but it's not
I
my
mean,
money.
not my
Not
money.
my money. Of course, I would never pay for
God
it.
forbid.
God forbid.
Take
But
my money.
somebody's got to pay for it.
Somebody.
Yeah.
It's called working at Prime, isn't it, Steve?
Yeah. Hey, what was your original? You said you had a solution for all politics.
It was the no campaigning thing.
Oh, the no campaign.
Wait, what if it's a lottery though? What if people like if you want to be, if you want to do something, then you enter into the lottery, and then I don't know, maybe you could campaign, but regardless, it's just like lottery numbers come up.
It would do away with all the weird debates where everyone's just yelling at each other, and then
Yeah.
But then that creates a situation where just anybody can be a president. And do you really want
exactly.
that? Like
I met
could be
Jimmy
like,
down the street. He seemed like a good guy.
I definitely want it better than the last few presidents, four or five maybe, like.
You don't like celebrity presidents?
That's what I mean. Like, regardless of if you have it like no campaigning, like you just vote on whoever you want, or if you just have it how we have it now, like it's gonna be a celebrity probably for like the rest of like the foreseeable future. I feel like if not a celebrity, an old politician who's like a celebrity at this point. Like Joe Biden is kind of like a meme for our generation, right? He's just like Obama's like pal.
Side hoe.
Yeah, and I don't know. It's just kind of fucked up.
Yeah, for sure. It's all. That's what it always comes back to. These conversations. It's just fucked up.
Yeah.
There's just so many things. Dude, you told me one theory. I mean, just before I wanted to mention this is that where you're like, even if we had one person making one system, even if we got all these billionaires together, right? They would still make a decision, and 50% of people would agree with it, and 50% of people would disagree with it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like.
That's right. Like basically, the answer that they have to create it has to be so free, objectively so good that everybody if you don't agree to it, it's like you're fucking stupid.
Yeah.
My counter argument to that is like people, even if it comes from God, people say no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Basically, the whole thing is is people have to how about you make it a challenge for them, right? They get to enjoy all this like money and lifestyle there, but then if they can't produce produce actual result, they have to pay it all back. So it's basically their job to find an answer that everybody crazy.
That's actually kind of. I mean, it kind of makes sense. Just like a loan system, I guess.
Yeah.
Did y'all know that ancient China used to lay prisoners down and let bamboo grow through their torso?
Jesus
Slowly.
Christ.
What have you
To bring it back to just
I'm
torture.
just
Oh,
trying
God.
to.
I think that's
I
about
like
enough.
that. It's a good palate cleanser from the glass in the dick, honestly.
Yeah. Like
It's a good product.
this one's.
I'm over here all just moved on from that conversation. I've been thinking about it.
Dude, Sonam does not want it in his mind at all.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. I think that's a good wrap up for the episode. Start with torture, end with torture. You know.
Yeah.
That's really.
That's what they told her.
Oh, no. All right. Well, all right. What a good way to end an episode. That was amazing. I hope you understand now the people that I live with and a little bit more about myself and why we call Sonam Stonam occasionally. I hate to say, I wish I didn't have to leave, but Lawson's leaving tomorrow. So sad. I wish he wouldn't. I wish I could live with Lawson forever. And Sonam, I hate to say, I'm leaving at the end of the month too. So I think this episode was a good farewell. But hopefully you got some insight or something. So have a good good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. Amen. Thank you for listening. I love you. Okay, bye.
Torture? I hardly know her.
Oh my god.